All right, welcome back to part two of our Symmetry Sugar Skull drawings. So last time you should have designed your skull with all kinds of different designs. Here's the one I did last time. You had a checklist where you had to add details to the eyes, the nose, the forehead, the cheeks, the sides of the head, and the chin. So you were supposed to put some decorations on each side. Remember that they had to be symmetrical, which meant if there was a line down the middle, it was the same on each side. So you went relatively the same design, same number of petals and shapes. Once you had that drawn on with pencil, you were to go over it with black Sharpie and outline all of your pencil details. That's going to be a really important step for later. Now we need to transfer this design onto our tin foil here. So here's how we're going to do that. You gotta redraw it by hand. Just kidding. You have to take your picture, you're gonna lay it on top of your tinfoil. Before you do that, you might want to try to smooth out your tinfoil a little bit with your finger, just to kind of get those areas cleared and smoothed. Little tiny wrinkles are fine, those will still be there. Maybe they can look like little cracks in your skull. You lay your paper on top, and then you need to take some tape and tape down the top two corners. I'm going to scooch this down a tad. I'm going to put a little bit of tape right here on this corner and a little tape on this corner. That way I can lift it up to check if I've missed anything. So now if I have this outlined, it's on top. I'm going to take my pencil and now I'm going to go over the top of everything that I outlined with pencil. Now you might say, well, I already drew it in pencil. Why do I have to go over it with Sharpie and then go over it again with pencil? Well, that's because with the black Sharpie, once you go over it with pencil a second time, you're going to see where you already went over it, or where you've already traced over in pencil on top of the Sharpie, because it's kind of hard to tell with pencil on top of pencil. So you're pressing kind of hard so that your design will transfer over to the tinfoil. What's going to happen is, now that I'm going over all these parts and pressing kind of hard on it, it's going to leave an indent onto my tinfoil. So I'm going to go over all of my important pieces. This could take a while, but as you're going, you can check to see if you've missed anything. I'm going to keep going. Once you have everything outlined, I know I'm not done yet, but when you have everything outlined, you can lift it up, double check that all of your pieces are there. You can kind of see, it's hard to see in my light here, but you should be able to start to see like the eye indent coming through and where everything is drawn out. And when you have that all done and you can kind of see all your parts, I know it's hard to see on mine, especially with my lighting. My light bulb above my desk burnt out, so now it's even harder to see this. But once this is done, you're going to take a black Sharpie, and you can either use, well, you only have one in your kit, but if you have a skinny Sharpie at home, you could do that too. And you're going to go over and retrace everything that you just outlined with black Sharpie. So all of the details, the outside of the head, so that you can see where you drew everything. So I'm going to go ahead and do all of this and get it all outlined. Okay, I'm back and I've worked a little bit on my skull. You've noticed I might have started to add a little bit of color to it. So looking at my skull right here, I have outlined all of my details now that it's been transferred with the black Sharpie so that I can see everything nice and clearly. I did my eyes, my nose, all my designs, my mouth. And now it's the time to add the color. For the back of your skull or the base, you got to pick one color to do. So for example, my whole skull will be blue. And I'm using colored Sharpies for this, so if you don't have colored Sharpies at home, maybe we can grab a couple from the dollar store. They're not too expensive. So picking out a couple of colors. Now keep in mind the idea of symmetry. Symmetry means it's going to be the same on both sides, and that applied to our designs that we drew on, but it also applies to the colors we use. So you'll notice on my cheeks here, I did a light pink and a dark pink. And I did the same thing over here. The inside ring is light pink and the outside ring is dark pink because it needs to be the same on each side. It is symmetrical. So if I color in this heart orange, then this heart has to be orange. Same thing for these dots. I'm going to do dark pink in the dots of these circles. So I would have to do dark pink in the dots of these circles over here. You have to make sure that you are following the rule of symmetry with the colors that you are using. I like to say whatever color, I start with the background color first, so I was doing like this blue color. And then when I go to do my details, I want to think of colors that are going to stand out against my background color. If I used a really light background color, maybe I want to do darker details. If I used a really dark background color, maybe I want my details to be a little lighter so that they stand out in contrast. Here's one skull I have done already with a yellow background, and I went for some darker colors to kind of contrast against it. And you can see I've added other details in different areas. So your task for the second part is to be working on transferring your image to your tinfoil, just like this, taping it on, tracing over all the parts with pencil, making sure you've outlined everything and it's transferred, outlining everything on the tinfoil with black, and then going in to add your color. I'm expecting number 3 and 4 coloring. It should look like a 4th grader did. It should not be sloppy. You should have the background colored in with one color of the skull, and then the details, you have choice of color, but you need to make sure that it is symmetrical, same on both sides with the colors that you choose. And then part 3 of this video will be coming the week after, maybe 2 weeks, and we are going to be doing the background around our skull and adding some details back there. So this is our mission here. Good luck and have fun.